Hello, BookTube, and I thought I'd just come on to do a live. I'm not sure what the topic's going to be for tonight, and because I've got a number of videos to do for June on the Range, books that I've read, and sort of been wondering whether it works to do a video for many books and talk about them or individual videos, because I've got 4 5 books to talk about yet, and possibly do a few other videos. But just was wondering if you prefer individual videos or a video that combines a whole bunch of books, because obviously a combined video would be longer, and sometimes that doesn't work for people. So yeah, anyway, because I've got a few things. I'm still reading the Sackett series by uh, Louis L'Amour, and this is I think it's the fourth. I'm a bit behind in reading Jubal Sackett, and it's one of the longer books by him. And then also I've got to talk about at some point Riders of the Purple Sage by Zane Grey, and also continuing with sort of dime novel type material, and one of Ned Buntline's stories about Bill Cody, Wild Bill Cody, and Buffalo Bill Hickok. Or did I get those mixed up? Yes, I'm back in my normal spot, Steve. For the moment, anyway. Well, that was an aberration to do it downstairs, I think. But hopefully, this is the Saturday of BookTube live streams. Is it? Oh, okay. I know Steve did one earlier. And it went on and on and on, didn't it? I couldn't watch it all. I was waiting for some groceries, and then my landlord came, so I was downstairs, so I couldn't get to watch it all. I'll have to catch up on it later. But yeah, no, I just was wondering about videos. As I was trying to say, whether or not do them separately or combine books in videos. Didn't actually get to the pub, Freeman. Didn't work out because it was getting late, and taxi said it was going to be, I think, about half an hour, 45 minutes. So Adam, we just ordered in. He ordered in some lasagna, so I had some lasagna last night. So, and I was really tired as well. If I do a live stream, and Sean does a live stream, what more does BookTube need? Yeah, Mark, I'll have to do one now. Just as soon as I finish, and then Mark can start one. But yeah, no, yesterday really sort of took it out of me, because it's first time I'd been out, actually, other than to the hospital. First time I'd been out since August 2020, late August 2020, and that was to the bookshop as well. And because there were some books that I bought at that time, well, some journals and some books, and I could never get them, and they'd been sitting there for, well, some of them have been sitting there because I was able to get them yesterday. Just some journals, some the what is it, the Anglo-Zulu War Historical Society Journal, I think that's what it was called. Yeah, should do arrange to do a back-to-back live streams for 24 hours. Oh, crikey. Well, we could do a readathon, and each person could we could read for 2 hours, and each person could carry on with the next book. Oh, that would be something. And how was it getting around? Was it? Yeah, well, I can't go very far before I needing to sit down. That's the thing. And with the way my knee is now and my hip, the arthritis that's getting into it. That's the thing that was really getting to me, I think, yesterday at the most. Hello, Ventilindi. 12 people, 2 hours each. Yeah. Yeah. What could we read for 24 hours? What would take? It would have to be a long book, I would think. And sorry, I can't put the fan on, I don't think, because but it's sweltering in here. And if I put the fan on, you won't hear me, I don't think. But I'm melting. Because the temperature outside isn't too bad, but inside it's really, really warm. So yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun getting out. It was nice seeing a lot of new books that I hadn't seen before. A lot of stuff that under normal circumstances, if I was working, there was a lot of stuff I would have bought. I had like even cheap stuff for £1 or £2 that would have been really nice to just have to spend a little time with, but got nowhere to put. And I was offered, probably Steve may be the only person that will know about this, or there might be a few others. Golan's put out a left book, the Left Book Club. And one of the first publications was The Road to Wigan Pier by George Orwell in the 30s. Now, I could have had 130, 140 Left Book Club books, original publications. They were cheaply made. Most were hardcover. A few were sort of cloth covered paperbacks, sort of in a sense, but soft covers. I could have got them for a song, but I have nowhere to put them. Steve says, my vote is to separate shorter videos for each individual book, fully tagged, of course, easier for future review. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. But I'm behind now, so I just wasn't quite sure what I should do. Yeah, well, Spaminator, you must be tied right in and get immediate notifications. I don't think anyone would watch it if we read. Chatting would be better, probably, though I still think we should take an old radio play script and put it in a little production. Yeah. And then Mark, yeah, because that's just what you need. There are 100 or so or more books. Yeah. Well, the thing is, I have no idea. I know some of them are collectible, and I know like the Road to Wigan Pier it's not a huge price tag, but it's it's a collectible book if it's in good shape. They never were made very well, cheap paper, so they are browning, and these were a little rough and looks like they've been well, they're red, so whether it's been sunning or just fading on the spine. But I was sort of thinking, like, if I had enough space for this stuff, because I don't know what's going to happen to this stuff. I think it's just going to, go to the four winds or go in the recycle bin. But it would have been kind of neat to have, because there was a lot of interesting stuff that Golan's put out in that. And it's most of it's never been reprinted. So just interesting stuff. Like I could do a whole oodles and oodles of videos on the Left Book Club. You guys are on it today. Sure would be nice if I wasn't. Are you still working? Science van. Jeez, because that was when did Steve do his video? That's got to be 5 or 6. No, he did it at 5 o'clock. Yeah, so it's almost 5 hours ago. So yeah, you got to be finished working soon, you would think. Who works on a Saturday late? Yeah, yeah. We'll bombard Spaminator with notifications once he's asleep. 9 hour days. If it's only 4 days, then that's not too bad. But if it's 5 or 6, then that's getting a little much. But yeah, uh, yeah, it's not too bad outside here at the moment, but it's just inside. But I can't get very far. I need to sit down every so often, and so I can't get anywhere. Yeah. Well, I liked the job that I had, and well, I didn't like the job, but I liked the hours when I first started. They were 10-hour days, so I'd work 4 days a week. So I always had 3 days off a week, and every other week, I think it was that I had 5 days off in a row. It worked out. So a few days I had to work. I mean, a few weeks I had to work an extra day or two, like maybe 5 days, 10 hours, but you made up for it. And then I had so many days off for holiday that I took at least 1 week off or 2 weeks off every month. Like I could take because I'd space it out. It was that was the good part. Today, 14-hour work day. Oh, geez, I don't miss those. Uh, Small Smitherman said the Communist Party of Britain used to hold a monthly book sale in Russell Square, London. Lots of left book club books there, plus English translation, official Soviet documents. Yeah, they were um, in huge numbers. They were printed, but you just don't see them much anymore. That's for well, I hardly ever saw any in Canada. Probably more so here. The price of spam keeps going up. Yeah, every price of everything's going up. Um, Got to work to pay for it. Plus, I'm wrestling tonight. Oh yeah, you did say you're wrestling. Yeah. I don't count that as work, even though it hurts more. Geo Craftsman. My brother has the same 4 day, 10-hour workday schedule. It's really feeling freeing for him. Yeah, and does have an extra day off every weekend, allows for a bit more mobility. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. It was nice to do that, and then all of a sudden, and I was so angry because all of a sudden, um, like I paid for some courses to do bookbinding, to learn bookbinding, and then they changed it to a 5 day week. So it just screwed up everything for me to take this course. So I never got around to doing it. 2 8-hour days and 2 5-hour days as well. Wow. Now I don't know if he could actually win that. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I have no conscience, but yeah. So it's still hot there in the Czech Republic, Mark, and I guess everywhere else. Steve was saying it's just it's just boiling or broiling in the U.S. It's more than it's hotter than here. That's for sure. I guess we should be in Australia. It's what is it? The depth of winter now, I think, in Australia. That's what I need to do. I need to live here in the winter or northern climes in the winter, preferably not the UK because it's too wet, but northern climes in the winter, and then move south of the equator for and then stay there winter as well. So I'm perpetually living in wintertime. I think that'll work for me. Be a pain though, moving all my books all the time. That's why I just need one of those big cruise ships or something like that to live on. But yeah, I didn't get much reading today. I started reading The Wager, and it seems really, really good. And I was sort of, it sort of had some vibes and things. I was thinking of Hornblower while I was beginning to read it there. So walking into Walmart, burst into flames. Well, that's just Walmart, isn't it? I think Steve. Yeah, there was the time that Steve, if you're still here, that somebody mentioned. I think Asda. Uh, is that right? Yeah, Asda is the UK Walmart. It's basically the same thing as Walmart, I think. Oh, it keeps jumping. Are saying, yeah, I'm melting poor Elvis in his fur coat, so we'll insist on sleeping under the bed, which is cool for him. But his body heat warms me up even more. Yeah, what I hate is my mattress. I've got one of those memory foam mattresses, and it's like a heat sink. It just sucks your heat and then gives it back, and that's not nice. No, I've not read any Pat Barker at all. I've not read any Pat Barker at all. Sorry. Um, he's a new author, so Steve, I'm sure, has read any. I don't know the trilogy at all. So yeah, it's a lot of new stuff that I haven't read. New in the sense of 100 years, almost. Well, it's getting close to that. She? Oh, is Pat Barker female? Oh, I didn't know. I thought Pat Barker was okay. I didn't. I had no idea. See, that's how much I know about it. Steve saying high humidity here in Boston, but no actual heat for the rest of June. I won't read the AC units. I need the AC units. Oh, I'd have the AC on now. As they used to be partly owned by Walmart, but they sold their. Oh, I know. I didn't know that. Okay, because I thought it was just basically the UK Walmart. I have read Pat Barker, unfortunately. Yeah, I've got a. I've got all the 6 volumes separate. Well, not separate. What I mean, I've got them all together. I know where they all are now. So sometime I'm gonna have to do a reread. Last time was, I think, 2016-ish. I think I read through, and that's when I read through Hyperion as well, and the Asimov's Future History. A bunch of stuff I read around that time. Oh, Steve wants to do God Emperor read along. I'd love to get though that box set. Did you wind up asking for that box set, Steve? Are you gonna get it? I wonder if Golan's is gonna put out the other two here. They put out the first one, which was not too bad. Having another humid heat wave. Amy's saying here in Ottawa, I've running the AC. Yeah, yeah. Amy uses. Don't you use the AC for? It's for the books, right? It's not for you. It's to make sure the books are okay. That's a good way to do it. Get a good thick cloth mattress topper. Fix that heat. Oh, okay. Yeah, I might have to look into something of that. Well, they've been writing for a while. Actually, Dan Simmons. I know Dan Simmons may have started writing in late '70s, I think, but Herbert's been writing since the '50s. But yeah, no, I just because that doesn't. Okay, I might be thinking of a totally different author. Doesn't Pat Barker write sort of horror type material? And if that's the case, then that's probably why I've never picked it up to read it, because I've never been, other than in the mid to late 70s, I never really read too much horror or newish horror in the sense of contemporary stuff. Hi, Gareth. Yeah, it's hot there, I'm sure. For the books and for my guests who don't like it warm. Oh, that's Clive Barker. So what does Pat Barker write then? I have no. Then I don't know. I know the name. I just associated it with something else. But I know I haven't read her. In the Brothers Karamazov. Is it heresy to say that so far I prefer Crime and Punishment? I really like Crime and Punishment. I've not read Brothers Karamazov. I'm woefully underread in the Russians. Hence, hopefully next year I'll get into a little more. Hello. Oh, Pavitt writes crappy over. Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, that's another. That could be a reason why. If I actually picked it up. Sorry, I got a beard hair in my mouth. That's not good. Yeah, it's because I know I do read historical fiction, but it's not the first go-to, and it's weird because I normally don't. Like I would say I don't like historical fiction, but then when I think of that, there's so much that I read that is historical fiction. So I don't know. It's one of those things, but I just probably just passed it by. Gola, Steve, I watched your Dune read-along videos when I read through the series last year. They're pretty old. You should do an updated one. Well, I think you need to actually look at it yourself, whether you'd like it, rather than just go by everybody else's. And just because I haven't read it, but Steve has particular tastes. Let's put it that way. But it was Clive Barker who shared some horse, at the Odeon, yeah. Is the Clive Barker, is that the, who wrote the Books of Blood? Everybody keeps telling me I've got to read the Books of Blood. Is that Clive? See, I get all these people mixed up because I've never read any of them. There's another one that writes honking great big horrors that I've never read either. I came up on a stream or two ago, I think. I can't think of his name. So I guess we'll need to ask, or I'm hesitant to ask, who haven't you met at the Odeon in Leeds, Steve? Well, there you go. Saul, Mark thinks the regeneration is worth reading. Also, it is Clive Barker that wrote Books of Blood when he was a young body tobacco addict. Yeah, I might take it because they are short stories, I think. So that could actually work out nicely, that you don't get into a big thing and I can just read a story here or there. And maybe like it, maybe not. Because, yeah, I don't know. Like, I like reading horror. Like, I always said I never really liked horror, and then I realized I like ghost stories, and I read a lot of ghost stories. I read tons of stuff that's, first half of the 20th century and Victorian. That's horror, I suppose, because to me, horror is supernatural, not anything else. Books of Blood is a mixed bag. Some of the stories are extremely well done, but some just so-so. Yeah, that could work. Pat Barker wrote boring historical fiction. Clive Barker wrote very smart horror fiction. And Bob Barker beat up Adam Sandler in Happy Gilmore. Okay. Wasn't who's the guy who hosted Oh, what's that American afternoon show where they guess the price of something? The Price is Right. Wasn't that a Barker as well? That's wrong, bitch. But yeah, it wasn't that Barker as well, or am I can't can't remember. Ronnie, okay, Ronnie, bro, yeah, there's Ronnie Barker, yeah, that's. If you're talking about smart writing, that's the two Ronnies are smart comedy writers. What's the guy's name from The Price is Right? Gonna start the three body problem. Yeah, a lot of people have talked about that. It sounds kind of interesting. And I first thought I was thinking that it was a takeoff uh, of sort of the three pipe problem by Sherlock Holmes, but it's not. Price is Right was indeed. Oh, Bob Barker. Yeah, it was a Barker. Yeah, who was also a great friend to animal shelters. Champion. Oh, okay. Never knew that. It was just such an odd show. I remember it being on as a kid, occasionally seeing it, and but I think it went right up into the 80s or even 90s, maybe. Oh God, no, not no! Don't mention him. That's a horrible comedian. Well, there's certain things. I know people. He's loved here in the UK. I just don't get it. I personally don't get it. It's like the other. I like the two Ronnies. Uh, what's uh, what's the other? There's another team of comedians. They're slipping. He's slipping in my mind. Their name. But I did not find them. I don't find them funny at all. But they were hugely popular. Oh, I can't think of their name. He says he's still alive, 99 years old. Wow. Is that a big book though? Well, the White Whales thing didn't need to be big books, but I didn't know. Bob Barker isn't still alive. He's dead. I killed him. No, not Hale and Pace. And Mark saying he is still alive. No, what's the? Oh, they would do a Christmas thing all the time. Oh no, not definitely not them. These guys were around in the 70s, and I'm trying to think of the name, but I didn't really find them funny, and I definitely don't find Ant and Deck funny. I just don't get it. It's like it's Morecambe and Wise. That's it. Thank you, Gareth. Yeah, Morecambe and Wise. I knew W was in there somewhere. Yeah, Morecambe and Wise. And Mark reiterates that. Yeah, I just don't get them. I don't find them. Um, I don't I don't find them funny. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, but humor and a lot of that stuff is very individual. But yeah, there's ones that I could say, okay, I can see why people find them funny, but then there's ones I don't. There's that. What's my, the heat is really affecting me. My brain. He's gone over to the States and he's done like a talk show, but he is so annoying, and I just don't get his popularity. He had his own show. I mean, well, he was on some, and I didn't even find that funny. A comedy series. Um, and he was on Doctor Who, I think, for a while. Eric Markham's paper bag trip is endlessly delightful. Seeing my mate doing it always made me laugh. Yeah, I just don't find them. I don't find them funny at all. personally. Yeah, that's correct, Mark. Yeah. Bob Barker used to tell audience members, if you joke with me, I'll hug you on national TV, but if you try to upstage me, I'll humiliate you on national TV. You're just, wow. Yeah, James Corden. I just don't get him. Yeah, he is awful. He is absolutely awful. But somehow he's popular. I don't get it. Tommy Cooper, I do find funny at times. Tommy Cooper, uh, but uh, but yeah, no, it's just it's. And I was watching something that was a documentary on northern UK here, like Yorkshire area comedians in the 50s that came out of the I was going to say vaudeville, but it's not vaudeville. It's 'cause that's the American. But anyway, and some of them were good, but some that were really huge, you scratch your head and you go, that's not funny. But they were big. Oh, is he? Well, that's good to know. Okay, yeah, Tommy Cooper, yeah. Yeah, he is annoying. He's a waste of skin. Blackadder is, yeah. Yeah, that is fabulous. I love one of the lines in the First World War one where he goes, "Well, we should have just stayed at home and shot 10,000 of our own men every week. You know, it would have been a lot easier." Music hall, yes, thank you, Gareth. Um, yeah, and then Mark gets it in. Music hall, yeah, because I always think of vaudeville, but I go, it's not vaudeville because that's American. It's music hall here. James Corden should stay in America and write speeches for Prince. Oh God. Yeah. Uh, Blackadder is fabulous. No, did I say my? It's the what's his name? I always say James Corbin is a waste of skin. I wouldn't even want a book that would be bound in James Corbin's skin. Guess guess you found that out at least. But yeah, there's music hall stuff is really cool. Anyway, what's his name's? What's the politician's? Uh, he's written a really good book on the history of the music hall because his father or grandfather was in the music hall or owned a music hall. What was it? Yeah, I'm terrible at trying to do a sentence with trying to figure out names in memory. Um, Sir, I have a cunning. Yeah, but is it as cunning as a fox at whatever? I can't even remember the whole thing. Sniggering at that, giving these people skin to bind books. Well, they did, and there's many that are out there. Not Prince Harry, but a very young Prince Charles. What shows that I can believe. Yes, John Major. Yeah, yeah, John Major. See, I know this. I know it, but I can't pull the bloody name out. But yeah, no, it's a really good book actually. Didn't he do one on cricket as well, or was that another politician? I can't remember. If you could have one book in your collection with someone's face stretched out and sewn into the front cover, what book would it be, and whose face? Oh my God. I don't know. Like I can't think of anything that I would want because it would be kind of creepy. Probably not. It's surprisingly, Steve, that's not worth a whole lot. It's an ex-library set. I could probably get if I found the right person, and if I sold, I could possibly sell for about £100. Um, and at the rate that I'm buying books, that would actually last probably 6 months. But there's nothing. I can't sell anything to the bookstore. He's not buying anything, or he wants to buy stuff, but he wants to buy top end stuff that I don't want to sell. And at the moment, oh yes, yeah, that's a good one. It's Cormac McCarthy. Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure he wrote a book on cricket as well. Then, because I know he did the music hall, and I think he might have done a book on cricket as well. I've met a few politicians. I actually bumped into one. I don't know if nobody will probably remember. Amy might know. Joe Clark was briefly a Canadian Prime Minister, briefly, and his name was sort of like his nickname was Joe Who. And I remember going sometime in, I guess it must have been in the 80s, going into a bookshop, Village Bookshop on Queen Street in Toronto. And I was halfway through the door, and he was tall. He tried to push his way past me, like push me out of the way, but it's kind of hard to do that. So I pushed him, and then somebody else said to me, "Don't you know who that was?" I said, "No." And then they said, sort of, his name, Joe Clark. I said, "Joe who?" Like I didn't even think. And I just said, "Joe who?" He wasn't too pleased at me saying that. Yeah. Oh boy. I'm gonna get demonetized now for sure. But yeah, I don't think anybody on here probably knows. Well, Steve, you might. Do you know Joe Clark? Do you remember? I don't know if you had any interest or saw anything about Canadian politics. But that's about the only politician I think I've, well, physically met, I should say. I had a physical confrontation with them. Actors, I've had many physical confrontations. I've had at least one trying to leap over a table. Joe Clark, yeah. Yeah, Amy, I thought would know who that was. John Major once had an affair. Really? uh, yeah, which shows a degree of fortitude that he never displayed. Oh, God Almighty. What will I be reading tonight? Probably continuing, not too late, but I will be continuing to read The Wager. Yeah, I just remember, like, yeah, he was just prime minister for a couple months, hence he was known as Joe Who. We all fancy a bit, but Edwina. He met many Dutch politicians. Okay. You could never call Edwina Curry spicy. Did you ever see her on Have I Got News for You? Blimey, it's like they were all scared of her. Ventures of Peter Ventures of Peter Wilkins. Why do I know that? I've not read it, but I don't know why that's sounding familiar. Who's it written by? Peter Wilkins, probably, but yeah, no. This I'm going to continue. I'm going to read this, and then my next one after this is going to be the Benson murder case by, well, the first file of Vance. Oh, jeez, Iguina. Oh, okay. Yes, I do know that. Then, yeah, I think I might have read that. Yeah, I was thinking of something newer. Because yeah, yeah, like I was going through some of the Lost Race and stuff, older books, one time, long time ago, and but I couldn't find too many. And I'm not sure if I can't remember if I've read that one or I came across it and wanted to read it. Because a lot of the stuff, but now it's so easy to find this stuff, like the sort of proto science fiction stuff or radium age science. It's all being published now. MIT is doing a whole series called Radium Age Science Fiction, and Gareth and I are going to read one of the Clockwork Man in July, which should be fun because it's one I've never read. Wow, there's a lot of that stuff I've never read. Yeah, they never thought it was. Well, it's the same thing. It's like John Hanning Speak and Richard Francis Burton discover Lake Victoria. It's not as if it was lost. Everybody else knew it was there that lived around there. Oh, you do know. So yeah, because I was given about six of them, I think, 6 or 7 that I think were review copies, plus a bunch of other ones, and they're really cool covers, and every title seems good. There's some of the usual ones, like you've got some I think the Doyle ones that are you see everywhere, and a couple of H.G. Wells, I think, and a couple other ones that are popular that everybody sort of knows. I guess that just sort of fluffs it out a little bit. But the other ones are really interesting. Found it at John King. In Detroit. Is that to John King? Which I think you once said it was full top to bottom with books nobody would want. Yeah, well, sort of. Yeah, because it's like, if it's still the same, it's like row upon row of water damaged ex-library books, really poor condition, that I'm sure there's something good in there, because there's probably like a million books he has, but to find it, that's the difficult part. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well, Gareth. Yeah, I'm really surprised that it's great that they're getting them on the shelf, because MIT Press is not a major press, and so it's really cool that you were seeing them. Was it at the comic book place? Oh, I can't think of it now. But the big comic book place, is that where you saw it, or did you see it other places as well? Reading the Ottomans, Khan, Caesars, and Caliphs, book by Mark David Bear, I guess that is. Don't know that one. No, don't know that either. I'm going to be reading Lonesome Dove tonight, plus a couple of William Trevor's. All of Lonesome Dove tonight? Oh, you've seen them in Waterstones. Wow, that really, really surprises me. It's good, but that really surprises me to see something like that in Waterstones. Somebody really good must be distributing MIT stuff here. I don't know who's doing it, but there must be somebody who's pushing. Yeah, I'll have to get to Lonesome Dove someday. And all the other Larry McMurtry books that I understand are absolutely fabulous. That's called Steve baiting. Wait a minute, I may need to rephrase that. John King is mostly vintage hardbacks, and the paperback fiction is shockingly tiny. But there's 3 shelves. Wow. So yeah, well, I haven't been in. Well, I think I was in there. It had to have been the early '90s or late '80s. They were early '90s probably, and it wasn't that good. But yeah, their antiquarian books are nice. Waterstones have a great stock. A lot. I'm pretty impressed with what they stock in most. Oh well, not my well, it's years since I've been in the one here, but the one here is just horrible. Like you go and you look at the classic section, and literally it was about that much, and you got a few old black penguins and maybe a couple Oxford World Classics. That was it. There was nothing else. It was just all like just the top 10 sort of stuff, just blockbuster stuff. That's all they had here. And when you like when I tried to order stuff, they didn't even want to order anything for you. It's a really bad store, or it was, like I should say, because it's got to be 4 or 5. It could be 5 years since I've been in there. But the thing is, like this is Bedford, and the library here is just horrible. I'm so surprised that there's a good used bookstore here with good stuff. And the only reason why that is he's not getting it from people in Bedford. He's going far away to buy collections, and he gets collections from other people. If he had to rely on books bought from people that live in Bedford, I don't think he'd get much. Yeah, not in this shop. It hardly had anything. Like what it would have sort of modern, like the modern classics mixed in with the general fiction, but they had like anything that was pre World War One or definitely pre 1900 was literally on the shelf, and their poetry section was this big when I was in there. Like it literally was that big. There was like about 6 or 7 books, and that was it. That was their poetry section. And they didn't even have the main stuff. Well, it's the same as the library. When I moved here, I went to the library because I didn't have any money, and I didn't have any books. So I went to the library to like because Milton Keynes' library was pretty good. I was always able to find something to read from there. I come here and I put in about over 200 titles of things, like just as simple as Oliver Twist, things like that, just simple stuff that are just the run of the mill things. They didn't have it on the shelf. You had to get it from either stock or interlibrary loan, which costs money. They've since expanded a little bit, but I mean, over 200 titles of just general fiction they didn't have. Chichester, Brighton, Southampton, and Guildford are good ones. My one is Portsmouth is pretty good too. Yeah, well, it's not Bedford, so it probably is. Yeah, no, it was just it was near the classics section. I think it was like like there was a small, very narrow bookcase, and I think that the top shelf was classics, like the pre 1900 stuff, literature, and then I think the poetry was the next one, and so they literally had I think 2 sitting face out, and then they had a little section like that which filled up the shelf. Yeah, it was quite pitiful. But as I say, I haven't been in for 5 years, so if anybody else is watching that ever gets in there and they'll say it's different, well, it's changed, which would be nice if it did. But yeah, I remember that I wanted to order. I can't remember what it was. I wanted to order something, and they didn't even want to do it. So I left. There was another new bookstore here in town, which you could order stuff, but all they did was they ordered it from Amazon. Then they got it from Amazon, then sold it to you at a higher price. Yeah. But that place was next to. They had a lot more classics, but yeah, it was just, yeah. Ordering from you, but you order a book from a bookstore and they buy it from Amazon and then give it to you. That doesn't work very well, in my opinion. But, so what are you reading tonight, Steve? I say I'll continue reading The Wager. I'm not very far into it, but hopefully I'll get maybe 50 or 100 pages done tonight, hopefully. But depends on the heat, really, because this is really starting to get to me. Because I was quite dehydrated yesterday because I should have taken a bottle of water with me, but I didn't plan it. It's been so long since I've been out. You may have been served by Dinlo. The first thing you say in retail when it's not in stock is, "Can I order it for you?" What is Dinlo? I don't know. I've never come across that Dinlo. But yeah, no, I started first job in the UK was Milton Keynes in Audicors. If anybody remembers Audicors before Waterstones bought them out. I had been in the UK a year before that, so I was in 2003, 2004, maybe 2003, 2004 Christmas time. And I was I stayed in Bournemouth most of the time. But I was verbally offered management of an Auditor store because they were going to open up 4 or 5 new stores in the next year or two. However, it took me a while to get my visa and so forth. And then by the time I got here, they were in talks to sell to Waterstones. So they put brakes on any new stores. But I did get a job of the Auditors in Milton Keynes in the mall there. And it was okay, but it was clear that new retail book selling is not really for me, not in the UK. Oh, okay. Portsmouth's price. Well, they are, yeah. That's the one thing I found. Even the ones that I worked at that I worked with in Milton Keynes, because there was one woman that was that she was in charge of the history section. She was the history manager. And this elderly couple came in and wanted to buy a set of books for their son. And what it turned out, they were talking, what they wanted was Shelby Foote's Civil War. And she was arguing with them that they meant the English Civil War because there was no other Civil War. And she was arguing with them. So I made the cardinal sin of jumping in and helping them. And that sort of killed me working there ever again. Because they just couldn't believe it, and then every time they came back, they wanted to see me. So they didn't, the others didn't like it. So I shot myself in the foot of ever continuing to work for Auditors. So Yeah, there's no other Civil War except the English Civil War. And there is no such thing as the American Civil War. Right. Anyway, yeah. Well, anyway, the whole point of this, I guess, I was trying to find out whether I should do individual videos on specific books or other ones, and so I think I'll continue to do individual ones. But let me see. I'll be reading a Western for June on the Range, Star Trek novel for Book Trek, and a new Mercedes Lackey Valdemar novel. Is that because there was a Mercedes Lackey that was a science fiction writer? That's not any connection, is it? And a new book on crazy U.S. fundamentalist churches. It's probably that. Is that like a 3,000-page book, Steve? It probably could be. Mercedes Lackey, but Valdemar. Oh, so where does the Valdemar come from then? Where does that come from? I just don't never. Oh, sorry. Okay, I misunderstood that. Okay, I don't know the Valdemar novels. I don't know them. Okay, I don't know them. I just knew she was right, but I thought it was Mercedes Lackey Valdemar novel. I was trying to figure out what the hell. Who's that? But yeah, she's got to be getting up there in age too, because she's been writing since for quite a while. All these science fiction writers, like I really have no clue of new science fiction writers. The one is this Paolini, Christopher Paolini is probably the newest writer that I've ever read in probably decades. But it was, what was the name of this one? It was just the something noise. What is it? Fractal Noise. It was okay. Oh, that could be interesting. Is it a big biography or? Because yeah, that's, I wouldn't mind reading some stuff of like I'd love to have a nice big one of Louis and Ella and a few others. It'd be nice to have some nice big like Duke Ellington, even some blues stuff. Oh, what's his name at the Crossroads? I can't think of his name. Be nice to have a nice big biography of some of these people. I've listened to their music enough, long enough. So yeah, it's not too bad. 650 pages. Did you get a real copy of it, or is it an e copy? I think the chat is filtering me out. It thinks I am misbehaving. Why? Oh, this is the first. Yeah, I haven't seen anything else. By Spaminator. Sorry if. Yeah, I didn't. I haven't seen anything. That's the first one for a while. Yeah. Well, it sounds like it should be soon. Or is it out now, Steve? Or Robert Johnson? Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to have a nice big biography of him. I got tons of jazz books at work that were donated to me. There's a good one on Ella. I'll do some videos on them. Yeah, that'd be cool. E-copies are real copies. That's not a real copy. It's not a real book. Oh, did he have? Oh, is there a new biography of Robert Johnson? Ooh, that'd be kind of cool. It's thin. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know why. Like you see these biographies that are like under 200 pages or just over 200 pages. You can't do much with that. Good biography of Dostoevsky. Isn't there a multi-volume? There's a 3-volume Dostoevsky, isn't there? A 2-volume? Or am I thinking of somebody else? I think there's a 3-volume Dostoevsky biography. I can't think of who it's by. Steve, I'm sure will tell you. But yeah, there's just so many things to read. Well, like, I don't know, Steve, did you see I got a whole stack of E.F. Delderfield books, like the Horseman Riding By or the Swan. Oh, wait a minute. Well, there's the Swan Saga, and then is it the Horseman Riding By? The Horseman? Is that, or am I thinking the same one? But anyway, the two trilogies, the Avenue, and then a separate one. Yes, that's the one. Yeah, the Joseph Frank. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. Ah, okay. But it's kind of neat to read, because that's what, like, I'd love to read I do want to get and read that 5-volume Henry James biography, and I'd love to read that Churchill. What is it? 10 volumes, just for the experience to see can it actually work. Oh, jeez. Well, I think that's probably it, because 15 pages on every epileptic fit. It can't be that bad, is it? It's like I've got what is it? A 3-volume of Ezra Pound, and I got to get to reading that some point. A 3-volume Ezra Pound. I think it's three. I think it's Pound. Yeah, I think it's Ezra Pound biography. Can't remember who's it done by, but I keep wanting to get and read the 3-volume Graham Greene biography. There's a 3-volume Robert Frost biography. So, Steve, what's the longest? Like, is the Churchill biography the biggest and longest biography that you're aware of? It's got to be close to it. Like, I know there's all the supplementary volumes. Like, there's 30 or 40 documentary volumes with it that are like anywhere from 1,000 pages to 2,500 pages. They're just massive books of all the documents, and I think it's like 10 volumes or something like that. But I can't think of anything that comes close to that, other than maybe somebody's diaries, like Peep's diaries or something. But that's not that's not a biography. But but I think before I'd read anything Dostoevsky biography, I think I'd want to read a lot more of his books. That's for sure. Uh, yeah, I think I've seen that Prince Albert one. Yeah, but yeah, I can't remember how many volumes it was. But it's just amazing the number of books that you can write. And I'd love to read it just to see if it's possible to do something, or it could be like you say. It's just there's so much detail that you get lost in the detail, and just and you don't care about the detail. But found the Prince Albert set at the Brattle once in the sale. Wow. Well, like there's some stuff that you show that you've picked up for a dollar or two. Well, you picked up the was it the bio or was it the letters of Larkin? I think it was the letters. That there is like you said, it was like a dollar or something like that. It was like that's worth that. Well, worth is a bad word, a wrong word to use, but people are asking huge amounts of money for that online. And it's still in print, like a new, and it'll be probably a print on demand in a crappy cased binding, and I think it's over £100 for that. It's ridiculous. But for ones and abridgments, Steve, you mentioned the. I'd love to get the what is it, Marchlands, um, Byron, the 3 volumes. But I think you've said before that the abridgment's better too. I think you've said that. I saw that 3 volume Green biography in the sale lot just a few months ago. Yeah, I'd like to read it because I over the last couple of years I've been reading. I've probably read about another half dozen of his books. I like him. I really like his style of writing. Sometimes he doesn't quite get it, but some of the ones like there's one that's so really good. Ray Milland was in the film. I can't remember, and he's got sort of amnesia and stuff. I can't remember the name of it. Leslie Martian, yes, and the Bridgman is excellent. Yeah, because it's so hard to, it's so expensive to get the 3 volume. I think it's like late 50s. Was it Scribner's or something like that, or Brown, the box set? It's difficult to get, but I've wanted to get that. I've got his edited 11. Well, actually, I think there's 12 volumes. One is an index. The index is way too expensive, but I've got his 11 letters that he edited, Byron's letters and diaries. I think it's 11 volumes, and I picked them up for £1 a piece, but it was they were missing 2, and then I picked up the other 2 for like I think £3 or £4 each off the internet. So I do have them. Oh, Raymond Lancer back. No, what's the name of that one? Ministry of Fear. That's it. That one is really good. I really like the writing of that in that one. Ministry of Fear. Oh, that's really good. Oh, Steve, I'm just curious what you think of, because I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna do video. We've got Louis L'Amour with Jubal Sackett and Zane Grey. I haven't read Zane Grey in 40 years. I really like his writing. His characterization, his relationship writing isn't the best, but I think he's a way better writer than Louis L'Amour, stylist wise. Louis L'Amour is great at pacing action in a story, but he's such a sloppy writer. Like it's as if he just vomited the words on the page, and they're fine, but there's a lot to be desired. It doesn't work. It doesn't hold together that well. But pacing wise and in a honking story, it's fun. But I think Zane Grey is a much better writer. I'm just curious what you think of that, because I know you like Louis L'Amour. The prose is better in but there isn't a human being anywhere with a pulse who wouldn't prefer Jubal's life. Well, yeah, for story, yeah, but I just think the writing is just so much better. But Jubal Sackett is good, but it's sloppy. It's very. I found it very sloppy, but fun. That's the thing. Jubal, the better book. Oh, okay. Yeah, Like in what way? In sort of enjoyment of story. See, that's the thing. I'm gonna split hairs here of of enjoyment of a fun story or the style of writing. Like to me, there's differences there, and yeah, the Jubal Sackett is a much more exciting story. It keeps you going, but I really like the writing in Zane Grey. I read Conagher by Louis L'Amour and was pretty bored by it. I think Riders of the Purple Sage might be a safer bet for me. I think Zane Grey is a great writer. The real question is after this, does Shawn have a pulse? Yes, I do have a pulse, and I really liked. I liked out of the two, I liked Riders of the Purple Sage better than Louis L'Amour because there's so many historical inaccuracies in here. There is in here too, but it's just so blatant in here, which he does things, and the sloppy writing. The dialogue is really bad. The only time the dialogue gets bad in here is when what's his name, Lassiter, is talking to I can't remember her name now, the woman, and then when the other guy's talking to the other young girl, it's just he doesn't seem to know how to do relationship dialogue very well. So when will you be mailing me those Deltafield novels next week? Well, they were mailed. They were sent to me directly from Blackwell's, brand new. I'm gonna have to, because I've read the Swan. I've read. I think I've only read one of the. Looking at them, I think I've only read one of the Avenue Goes at War, but I've read the other two trilogies. And there's the one, what is it, the Summer of Sermon or something, of the teacher who goes off to be a hobo, basically. But yeah, I do like his. I like his stuff, and I'm gonna probably be reading again. I think if Mark hasn't fallen asleep, probably be reading To Serve Them All My Days again in September. But the strange thing is, one of the trilogy is in mass market paperback. That's really strange. He's written a lot of stuff, and there's like these are the most popular ones, I think. There's one set in the 1920s. I think it's a love story. Never read that one. I don't think it's connected to anything else. He's done the Napoleonic War one, which I don't think I've ever read. He's written a lot, and I think there's quite a bit that I haven't read. But well, I like C.P. Snow. That's me. Oh yeah, and you did see probably my my newly acquired omnibuses. Delderfield's nonfiction. Oh, what did he write? Like, is it just sort of book reviews, essays, or what did he write? If you're talking, well, regardless of who you're talking about, I've never come across anything of Delderfield, nonfiction wise. I don't think. I just always had rad copies of these other ones. These are really nice, hotter and Stoughton, I think. Yeah, well, everybody's done non-fiction. Well, I guess that's the thing. It's not a surprise. Everybody's done nonfiction. It's like G.K. Chesterton. I like his essays. I like his nonfiction better than it actually is fiction, I think. Book reviews, essays, even collected letters, actually. Oh. Yeah, well, the CP Snow, he did the individual ones, yeah. Uh, well, he's done a biography of Trollope. It's not great, but what else did he do? He did he's done a thing about physicists, sort of physicists of the early 20th century or the first half. The Realists, I think it was called, like essays on Balzac and some others, and then some political ones, some political essays, and then the big one is the Two Cultures, and then the Two Cultures Revisited. But I don't think nobody has put out anything of a. But he must have done reviews as well. He must have done reviews, but I've never seen any of them. I've never seen any of them. G.K. Chesterton's essay is so much better. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think so too, Amy. Yeah. One of my favorites is because it is him with the pencil on the ceiling. Okay, well, thanks for stopping by, Steve. Yeah, I don't know when. Well, we'll definitely be back Friday, that's for sure, Mark and I. But I think I should get going too. I'm melting. I think I'm gonna have a puddle on the floor here, for sure. But yeah, you've got Amy. You've got what you've been buying the individual Chesterton collections, haven't you? Like you've got a couple of them that are really nice. I've got a couple of those, but I think I've got ones that are more collections, with more of them in uh, like an omnibus type thing of his essays. But and Arnold Bennett is another one. I like his fiction, but his essays are really good too. I don't know if you've come across those, Amy, yet. Arnold Bennett's. He wrote a weekly column, sort of a bookish kind of column, uh, for years, and they are really really good. But I have 3 essay collections now and one of his poetry books. Yeah, I like his poetry even better than his fiction for some reason. I don't know. I have to reread. Is he did the Four Just Men? I think I've got to. I'm pretty sure that's him. I keep going back to Father Brown. I love the adaptations that they've done over the years, like the original with original films with Alec Guinness. I like those, but I still can't get into them though. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it's criticism. A lot of the stuff is sort of, I think, from weekly columns as well. I figured it out. That chat doesn't like the word rednecks. Oh, so what? Has your comments disappeared, Spaminator? Or because it doesn't even come up to say that anything's been blocked or anything. So I have no idea. And if that's happening, I wonder how many other times things don't show up. I didn't get through The Man Who Was Thursday. Yeah, his prose is kind of tough. It's dry, I find. His fiction. Okay, yeah. So I wonder how many other people's. Has anybody else been seeing Spaminators comments, or they've just completely disappeared from it, and not just me? It's just blocking it completely. Because that's the thing, at this end, I don't have any clue of what stuff appears or disappears at all. Because I know at times when I've put up comments on some live streams, and they didn't seem to see them. So, um, yeah. So Chris is not seeing the comments. So yeah. So it must be the YouTube must be censoring you, Spaminator. They must know you well. Hello, Yuri. What a shame I missed an hour of your stream. Yeah, it was like I say, a ninja stream. It was the last minute, and I don't think I'm gonna continue too long. It's been good. It's been fun. But I'm beginning to melt here more than I was an hour ago. Gola hasn't seen them either. So yeah. So yeah. Well, see, you're just becoming infamous, Spaminator, and they know. They know. Also, and form of crowd of paying. I have no idea what that's supposed to be. If you don't want to see Spaminator's comments, select interesting comments only. It's a function, not censored. Oh, really? Then that might disappear. A lot of people's comments might disappear. It's Big Brother, yeah, yeah. Well, Big Brother's aware of Spaminator. I don't think so. Oh, that's a good question to ask because I've asked it a few times. I've still got a few weeks, maybe, free of Prime, and I guess this would probably be mostly for British, the people that are in Britain here, because I can always look for other things. But not American Prime shows freebies is not the same always as the British. So give me some things to watch on there because I've watched everything I want to. Jenny mentioned the one time Reacher, I think, on something, and I watched. Those were fun. They were fun to watch, but that was it. Then there was nothing else that I've got. It's a function. Select either all comments or interesting. No kidding. Where would that be though? Settings? No, it was not in the settings. I'll have to look for that. I don't know. I've not come across that, but I have no doubts that it's here. Let's look at settings. I don't know if it'll kick me out, but hopefully not. No. Settings mostly for camera and sound. Well, I know I could filter on my regular comments. Yahoo, you can filter words. You could say certain word like you don't want certain words being said. Just above the chat. Um, it might be on. Yeah, it might be on like the regular one, but not on my dashboard here or the studio. It does. I don't see it here, so it might be to do something outside of it. No, yeah, it's not in the settings. How does it judge what's in it? Yeah, that's the weird thing. I know, like I say, I can do specific words. So if I put I don't want the words to ever see the word spam, then everything I guess from Spaminator will disappear. I have no idea how the selection works, but I've noticed it in sometimes. Is it you've noticed it watching lives? Because yeah, that's different from what I see here in the studio. They call it the studio, where I click on the comment and it pops up on the screen. So that might be on the other thing, a different way of doing it. And I can't do that if I want to be in here unless I look on my phone or something. No. But there's also something that you can put, and I noticed Amy had that on her channel, was when you go to post a comment, if it's the first time, you can leave a note to say, be respectful, or do, don't be rude, or don't talk about this or whatever, and agree to it. And then you've got to agree to it before you can put a comment on. And I know that they do that. But I think once you agree to it, then you're okay, unless it's changed again. But yeah, they're always trying to filter everything, I suppose. Anyway, but yeah, no, if nobody has any suggestions for Prime shows, one thing I'm looking forward to, but I would have to pay an extra. I'd have to pay another month. Is what's the new? Oh, I always forget the name of it. It's with David Tennant, and it's where he's the demon and there's an angel. The angel owns an antiquarian bookshop. And there's a second season that's being done. And I use Chrome, and it's just a word chat above the messages that I can click and select either all or comments. Or it's interesting. I'll take a look at that the next time I see a live stream. But it might filter it for you then. Or whoever chooses that then, because it won't affect what's in here, because this is coming through StreamYard, so it's not going to affect here. So yeah, so I'll have to take a look at that. You're saying it's live stream. I like Jack Ryan. Jack Ryan. Okay. Oh yes, I did see. Okay, I'll take a look at that. Yeah. Old show called Manhattan. See if it's on Prime. Oh yes, I did see that. Yeah, that was actually quite interesting. Except the ending was, I thought, a little odd, if I remember right. But I did like that. I did enjoy that. Good Omens. Yes, that's it. Good Omens. Yeah, that's it. There's a second season. No, I did like the Manhattan. But yeah, oh no, I gotta ask, because I never found out for sure. Freeman. Was this you? Because you're the one that mentioned it in the live stream, and I said it sounded great, and then the next day it appeared, but it didn't say who was, and so I'm assuming it was you, but I've never got confirmation about that. Oh, the Black Book, yeah, that's pretty good. That's funny, yeah. The bookshop. Quite a few Woody Allen films on Prime. Yeah, I like some of his stuff. Oh, it is. Well, thank you very much, Freeman. Yeah, but there was just no slip with it this time. But that's really, really nice. Thank you. I'm like you probably heard that I started reading it this afternoon a little bit, and I'm gonna continue reading it tonight and over the weekend. No, it is very kind of Freeman. He's spoiled. I'm getting spoiled, but I like being spoiled. I was spoiled yesterday with all the books that were bought for me. Way more than I was expecting, and way more, I think, than my friend Adam was expecting as well. But like he just says, like you said, it was okay. So, and then knowing as well that I get this huge, really deep discount, probably about 40% off of cover prices. So even if something seems pricey, it's not too much. I mean, it is. They are. They are. That's, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, they are. They do pick me up, and it's like it's the only enjoyment that I can really have these days. So and it does. It really, really picks me up to get books. And to read, and it's not as if I need them. That's the thing. They're just nice. It is fabulous medicine. So yeah, as Freeman says, there's actually too, there's Mark's birthday is coming up in a little while. He's got a wish list. I've included it down below with all my wish lists as well. But if anybody so desires, The Last of Us. That one I don't know. I should write this down. Because I am going to forget it in a second or two, the way my brain is. Let me grab a pencil here. Yep, that has lead on it. An envelope, an old envelope. The Last of Us. Us. And somebody said Jack Ryan, I think, as well. Yeah, I'll see if those are on. But I think the Jack Ryan is, because I've seen previews for Jack Ryan on the UK version. But I have found that there's vastly different things. Like I got it free again, and I didn't want to do it right now, but I got an email to say that it was only like, if I didn't use the freebie thing in the next 24 hours, I would lose it. And I don't know when it would come back again as a freebie. So what I wanted to watch, I think it was the 4th or 5th season, the final season of The Amazing Mrs. Maisel. Is it Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? And then the third season of Picard. So I watched those, and then I was stuffed. There was nothing else that I knew what to watch, and so I've been pulling off videos or DVD Blu-rays to watch at times, which I still have a lot that I haven't watched yet. There's a lot of in 2020 I bought so many Blu-rays for non-English language movies that I thought it's about time I explored or re-explored, because I gave up on non-English films for sound for quite a while ago. Yeah, I did watch The Expanse. I liked it. I liked the first season much better, and then I thought they chickened out and didn't continue with some interesting stuff. I did not like. I thought it just fizzled away at the end. It was the third season or whatever, when they went through the portal and were on a planet. That was so tedious. 10 episodes where they could have actually had a very good 2.5 or 3 episode thing, and that was it. The Boys. Don't know what that is. The Boys. I've not heard of that one. Have you watched Utopia? Oh. I think so. I think I have seen Utopia. Is that the one? Because there's an American there's a British version and an American version. Is this the one where these young kids sort of get together and there's a comic of some sort or a graphic novel? If that's it, then I have seen it. Did not do the books just, yeah. That's what everybody says, yeah. Speaking of more books, how many would you guess are in your collection, unread, to be read? Ooh, well, let's clarify that first of all. Probably a good third of my books are not books to be read from cover to cover. They're things like this, reference stuff that you look. So we're talking probably 1,500 or so books like that you wouldn't read from cover to cover. That I haven't read, probably quite a bit, probably close to I would say, yeah, over the last couple of years, because I was given so many books, like, or I got so many books in the last few years, like with large collections, and I only wanted certain ones. So I would say, including all those, there's probably close to 1,000 that I haven't read that I have here, and I've probably read a good 1,500 or 2,000 or more than that actually that I do have. Electric Dreams is on. Oh, is that a series from the Do Android, or is that I? Oh, is that? Wait a minute. Is that sort of a compilation thing of different stories? I'm not a big fan of Philip K. Dick, but I know that they can do some good shows out of it. Electric Dreams. I'll take a look. Yes. Oh, that's the American version. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen actually both. I've seen both. I actually like them. I like them. Another sci-fi. People of Earth. People of Earth. I don't know that one. Oh, this is cool. Thank you. Because once my brain sort of gets fried with the heat too much and I can't read anymore, then I can watch stuff. Barry is on Prime, dark comedy about a hitman who decides he wants to be an actor. Okay, yeah, that sounds interesting. So wow, yeah, that's a lot of stuff. Thank you. Like I say, I don't know how much will be on the UK version as opposed to the American one, but I can always take a look, and then maybe even ones that the Peacemaker. Is that from a Stephen King thing? It's like a no, I don't know what that is. I was thinking of something else. Peacemaker. I'll write that down. I'm not sure what that is then. I was thinking of a Stephen King thing of Dark Tower or something like that for some reason. Because there was a movie that was on. What was it with Idris Elba or whatever his name is? Because I think he was called a peacemaker, wasn't he, or something like that? The character, or his clan, or something like that. So it's probably nothing to do with that. Anyway, this has been fun, everybody. I was feeling a little tired. Now I'm awake now. Ah, yes, that is a fabulous film. Bill Nighy is a woefully underrated actor. Yes, that is an amazing, and it's from is it from a Dostoevsky story or book too? I think. Oh, that is Living is fabulous. I just yeah, that's the other thing I did watch. I saw that it was on last week or something. That is fabulous. Peacemaker, I think it's DC comic. Yeah, then it's nothing to do with what I was thinking of. People of Earth, good comedy, sci-fi, but if you want to go serious, For All Mankind. There was a documentary called that about the moon landing, but I've got it actually on Blu-ray, but I don't think that's what that is because that's 2019. For All Mankind. What was there? There was a science fiction. It was interesting. It gave me vibes sort of older science fiction to a little bit. Sissy Spacek was on it. It's an old couple who have found a portal underground that takes them to another planet, like to a spaceship, and they've been sitting inside this thing just looking out and hoping to see something for like decades. I can't remember the name of it, but it was interesting because there's all these portals all over the world, and there's a secret society with them that it turns out. Interesting. Yeah, no, yeah, I think that's true. What's the one, the third page or something like that? There was a trilogy of films that were just fabulous. Uh, yeah, he's a really good actor. But he always does like small British films generally. I don't know if he's ever been on a big blockbuster film. For All Mankind, fiction, alternative space exploration, moon base. Oh, okay. Definitely interested in that. Yeah, that looks interesting. Yeah, yeah, definitely the Bill Nye. Yeah, I really like Bill Nye. Even in the like, probably one of it was still a good film. I want to read the book. What is it called? The Golem? Was it called The Golem? Because that's what was Peter Ackroyd's book, was something Golem of somewhere in London. And that, I don't think the film was that good, the movie that was made, but he was good in it. And that was fun to read as well, or to watch. But definitely, yeah. Bill Nighy, yeah. Anytime I see something, if I haven't seen him in it, I definitely want to watch it. But Living is absolutely wonderful. I do want to get that on Blu-ray eventually. I want to get that on Blu-ray because I do want to watch that again. And I haven't. I don't know if I've ever seen Ikiru. That's Kurosawa, I think, isn't it, or is it one of the others? I'd like to get that and compare them. And I'm pretty sure it's based on Dostoevsky or something like that. Either a short story or it's the life Ivan Ilyich or whatever. That's what it's based on. Oh, I can't think of the name of it. No, I haven't read the Golem book. I don't have it. I do want to read that one. There's other ones of his that I want to read. I've never read any of his fiction. There's one on Frankenstein that he has done. There's one about the lambs, I think, that he's done. Like, he's done a lot of stuff that is really interesting that I do want to read, but I just never got around to. I don't have the books. That's the thing. I do have, I think, the Frankenstein one, because I bought that in a book bundle from when I think the one of these online places went out of business, and they were just discounting everything. You could buy like 5 books for like £2 or something like that. Limehouse, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Limehouse. Yeah, I knew it was something like that, but it's based on a real sort of urban legend type thing of the Golem there apparently. So that's kind of what's the other one? No, wait a minute, Limehouse. Yeah, yeah, that's where it is. Limehouse. No, it's Dan Lido. That's what the name is, or something. That's what it is. Yeah. I collected. I love the one on the lamb. Yeah, that looked really, really good. I'm gonna have to prior, and they're not too big, so that's nice. They can, I don't think he's a complicated writer, so I could probably knock those off pretty quickly if I can get a hold of them. But yeah. Sorry, I've missed the word history. It's an alternative history of space exploration and moon race. Very realistic, most of it. Yeah, I'll definitely take that out. Take a look at that, Yuri. It's never come up on anything, or if it did, I probably was thinking of the old 1960s documentary or 70s documentary. Yeah, the Dan Leno. Yeah. Oh, it is. Even the paper. Well, probably the hardcover is. Yeah, it's Kurosawa, based on Death of Ivan Ilyich. Yes, that's it. That's it. That's it. I have read that. Read that a long time ago. It's one of the few Russians that I have read. But yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen Akira though. The Kurosawa film. I don't think I have. But yeah, no, that was really, really good. And I just don't know how, like, these small productions, British productions, can do period pieces like that from the 50s or 40s or 30s or 20s, and they're so good. You really think that you're looking at that time period. Everything is so meticulous, or most of the time. I was thinking of something else, that there was a big controversy. I can't remember what it was, where it was set in the 60s, and it was Endeavor, one of the episodes of Endeavor, and they know, they pretty clear of when this is happening and what year and what part of the year, what month and stuff like this. And they go into a nightclub or something, and there was a jukebox in there. And there was a bit of a controversy because it got up, I guess, on bulletin boards and that jukebox didn't show up in England until like 6 months after. And people went ballistic on it because it was 6 months out. They had it in England 6 months too early or something, or it was literally a few months that they made a mistake on it, on the style of jukebox. But I just thought, oh, okay, well, that's kind of cool that somebody was able to see that, but it's a little, yeah, it's a little pedantic. But anyway, thanks everybody for coming, and really thanks so much for all these. What have I got here? I must have 10. 1, 2, no, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things to look at on Prime that I definitely haven't seen. So that's fabulous. Thank you very much. And I'll be back, I guess, with I'll try to do a video tomorrow, probably on Jubal Sackett, for any that are interested in my thoughts on that, and then the other books, and hopefully soon to this one, The Wager. Tale of Shipwreck, Mutiny, and Murder. Fabulous cover. Fabulous painting. It must be, does it say who the painting is? Designed by Jacket Image, ships in distress in a storm, circa 1720 to 30, by Peter Monamy, I think. And it's at the Tate in London. Yeah. Good night, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Take care.